Well, we turn now to pit bull attacks. On Sunday there were two separate attacks, one in Wairoa, the other in Taniatua. Both involved young children and pit bulls. In the Taniatua case, a 5-year-old girl has undergone a 10-hour operation to reconstruct her severely damaged face. The surgeon says pit bulls and other dangerous dogs should be banned. Dr. Adam Greenbaum can't speak specifically about her injuries in this case, but he can speak about such dog attacks. He's seen many of them, the injuries caused, the surgery required, and what should be done. Mihi Narangi Forbes asked him about pit bull victims.
Pit bulls are extreme. I mean, and pit bulls started off as dogs that were trained to take down bulls, but since then they've been modified and bred largely by people who have malicious intent to try and make them more intimidating. They've been bred for dog fights, which is, you know, the epitome of cruelty, it seems to me. But it's almost impossible to stop them biting, and when they bite, they then shake their heads. So you have a tearing, cutting action, and human tissues aren't designed to take that.
How does the human tissue ever recover, or what's the process to recovery for a victim?
Well, the surgery involved means that one has to look at what's left, remove any tissue that's been killed, devitalised, lost its blood supply, in other words. Make sure that all of the edges of the wounds are cut away, because those will be potentially infected. Probably the worst bite you can have is a human bite, but dogs and cats carry lots of bacteria in their mouths too. There's often a lot of contamination. If the bite took place outside and people have been scrabbling around in the dirt trying to get away, then there'll be other contamination there as well. All of that's got to be removed so that you end up with a clean wound. And then you look at what's left and look at what's missing and try and reconstruct the defect.
You were talking earlier about the size of the jaw. Would that mean that their bites are deeper?
Yeah, the bigger the jaw, the more damage is done, and certainly it's jaw versus human. So if you've got a small human and a big jaw, that's going to be a more damaging injury.
Does it matter what kind of breed the dog is? Is there a difference in the injuries?
The issue, it seems to me, and this is not my opinion as a surgeon, this is my opinion as a dog lover and a dog owner and a father. There are some dogs which are just much more likely to cause damage because it's in their breeding. They've been bred to take down bulls, and if you think about the hide of a bull and the size of a bull, well then that's a very powerful dog that's going to do it. And some of them have been bred so that their noses are set back and their jaws are set forward so that they can carry on breathing while they're gripping. And if that means they don't ever have to let go while they're gripping and they can breathe, well then the injuries are going to be that bit more. There are some dogs which are bred to shake their heads and tear in more. And a bite which tears is much worse to reconstruct than a bite which was just a bite and a let go.
Do you think they're preventable?
Yeah, I do. I think all bites are largely preventable, and it's owners who need to know their dogs. I've got 2 dogs. I've got 2 children, and those children are never with those dogs unsupervised, and those dogs are the soppiest dogs, and we spent a long time training them. And the children play with the dogs, but under supervision, and that's because any dog put in the wrong circumstance has an instinct to bite.
Would you support banning certain types of breeds of dogs in this country?
Yeah, I just wouldn't have pit bulls. I think the idea should be that if you have a pit bull, rather than put it down, it should be muzzled and castrated, and then in a generation there won't be any pit bulls. But that's a personal opinion. That's up to the legislators to decide what they do, but as an individual, I don't think there's any place for pit bulls and various other breeds which are these days just bred to fight.